Hey everybody, and welcome to a sequel to Which of My Friends Would Win in a Fight, which was an excuse for me to compliment, 11 or 12 of my friends over the course of 25 minutes. This is Which of My Friends Would Win in an ambiguous reality television program. We got Rob, we got Bear, we got Dan. The funny thing about Dan, let me tell you, this is from a website, brantsteel.com. You can Google it for yourself. Thank you for making this incredible tool. All I'm going to say is all of these images I had to add myself, except this guy's got 2 images on the database because he's previously participated, in case you were not aware. We got Apollo, we got Corey, we got Justin, Josh, Kate, Mathis, Malf, me, and Sinvicta. That's right, I've put myself in this time. A lot of people ask questions about the patent-pending refs system, the realistic expectations fight simulator. You're looking at the back end right now. So step 1, we're going to start by editing the cast. Well, actually, we're going to do cast profiles, I should say. Now, I mean no disrespect with any of this when I do it. It's just to create delineations. We have to give rankings and relative skills to all 12 competitors. There is a little bit of bias. I also want to say before we get too far in, basically, I ripped this idea straight off of Dan, okay? He did this on his Twitch channel like a year ago, and I thought it was fun, and I was thinking about stuff to do, and I was like, oh, you know what? Why don't I shamelessly steal his idea? So if you can find it in his Twitch VODs, or maybe he posted it on his YouTube channel, check it out as well. He's the inspiration for this. So Robert, I'm going to say general. Let's give him an average. Physical, he does imbibe tobacco products, so I'm going to pull him down 1 level there on physical and endurance. But on mental/quiz, I'm going to compensate, and I'm going to pull him up to the great region. I think if you ask him for a test of rhetoric or debate, he can make up for potential cardiovascular shortcomings. Bear Taffy. For this guy, he's a competition beast. In every competition we've ever done, he's been there to play. So I'm going to give him... This is tough for me. This is tough. He's always down to compete. I think I'm going to give him beast level general skills. And I think I might even give him great physicality, average endurance. And then, Bear, please don't take offense to this. I have to pull you down into the decent range. Otherwise, you're just going to run the table. I have an obligation to maintain some semblance of balance here. So we've given out the rare beast mode rating. Dan Giesling. In general, I think that being great on competitions makes sense. I didn't put this in here. This is from his own profile, I guess. I think relative to, the rest of the NLSS, he's probably an above average physical condition. And honestly, he's a runner. So I think I might just give Dan straight across the board. This is where he gets you. Because you might think this is the guy who asked, is helium physical? But at the same time, he also socially engineered the demise of 22 other people in the Big Brother house. So I think we got to give him greats all around. That's a pretty easy ranking here. Apollo. I think in general, there's no reason to believe his competitive spirit puts him below average. I think physical, if it's a test of strength, he might end up slightly on the lower end of the mean. But I think his endurance is up there because he used to be a competitive swimmer. I don't know if people knew that. So I think I'll put him up to great in endurance. Mental quiz, honestly, to keep him in average seems like an insult. So we're gonna bump that up to great. He can hang in trivia. Corey. Based on his inability to connect to the Uno lobby, I've got to pull him down to decent in general when it comes to generalized, ambiguous competitions. Physicality, I got to keep him at average. I don't want to insult anybody for one. Secondarily, he works out. I'm going to keep him at, honestly, going to give him great endurance. Last summer, we biked together. He blew the pants off me. Perhaps phrasing. And let's keep him average mentality as well. We don't want to create a superhuman. In general, Justin in competitions, to be honest with you, I think you ever see this guy play PUBG? He's got a fire inside of him. You may disagree with these, by the way, but they're objective. In a test of physical strength, I think we're looking at an average individual who has great physicality but only decent endurance. And mental/quiz. I have to be honest, Justin, this is meant as no insult. I'm basing this entirely on the fact that you asked if ostriches are birds. I got to pull you down at a decent. Josh. General. Honestly, I think Josh might be an underrated force. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say in general, he's probably around the average level. But in physicality, I'm going to give him a beast. I don't know if you know this, but in 2006, he completed basic training, and that was only 14 years ago. His endurance, I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to pull that down to the average range. And mental quiz, I'm going to be honest. He doesn't listen to a word I say. This is not to say that my friend has a terrible brain. But he will not listen to the instructions. He will say, wait, what are the rules? That's gonna put him at a severe disadvantage in a competitive situation. My wife, you got to be careful with this one. In general, I'm going to give her a great on competitions. She's very competitive. I will tell you, and she would agree, we got to pull down physicality and endurance a little bit. She has an intolerance to exercise. Let's compensate. Bump her up in the mental/quiz region. Much like Nathan Fielder, she holds a 4-year undergraduate degree from one of Canada's top universities. Mathis Games. Honestly, I think for competitions in general, I got to pull him down to decent. Physicality, we're going to keep him at average, and we're going to bump up his intellect a little bit. You can't be a Dungeons & Dragons player without having a great mental/quiz. Because people are going to ask you, hey, how many magic intellect points do you need to cast Frostbolt? And he's got to be like, well, it's 2 times your d6 minus the initiative of the orc you're fighting, dummy. You don't remember that? Mouth. I can't lower his competitive ability right now because he's winning Golden Goblet. I mean, I won Spelunky, which is the true test of skill. But he won, or is winning Tarkov at least. I think I can leave him at average. He did come last in Champions of Salt. But there were mitigating circumstances. Physicality, I would put him up here on physicality. He does some body weight exercises. Endurance, this is not to say I don't think he's at average level of endurance, cardiovascular strength, but I've never heard Mouth speak about running, jogging, biking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. He's more of like he's like a rock climber, which is, I'm not saying it's not important. I mean, it's probably much more taxing than any of the things I just mentioned, but hey, I gotta come up with some kind of justification at some point. I think average quiz ability makes sense as well. Now, as me, let's go with Sinvicta first here, okay? Because I can't rate myself until I've seen where everybody else is. I think in general, I'm going to say that he's a competitive person, I suppose, or will try very hard in competitions. I think, again, much like Justin, we're looking at great plus decent as an aggregate composite physicality-wise. And honestly, I think I got to bump him up to great on the mental/quiz level. Just if you can remember all those Isaac items, obviously you got a superior intellect. Now, I have to be honest, in terms, if mental/quiz is memory and trivia, I got to put myself at beast range. People think that I would be like, oh, I've been working out for over a year. Wow. I would be like up here. But honestly, I don't think so. I think physicality, I'm probably in the great range. I think endurance, honestly, I'm going to put myself in the decent range, which might be a little low, but I feel bad because I started running in January and then I pushed it a little too hard and gave myself tendonitis in my right Achilles heel and haven't been back since because it still hurts when I wake up. So I'm going to punish myself by putting myself down there, but I have a competitive spirit for sure. Doesn't always pan out, but I think that this is fair. Okay, so that sets the stage, but then we also have to set relationships. We're going to do this pretty quickly because I want to get started. Robert, his relationship with Robert is unbreakable. We'll just say neutral. Now, Bear is going to get a small bond for the podcast, the football podcast. Sinvicta's going to get a small bond for the podcast. I was like, who's the other podcaster? It's Krendor. Not invited this year. He'd be too powerful. I think that Rob and Apollo have a strong bond. I think that Rob and Justin have a small bond for their like-minded politics. I don't know if Rob has a dislike for anybody here. So let's just move along. Let's call it like we see it. Bear Taffy, he's already got some small bonds in here, obviously. I think look, we all have a small bond with each other in real life. But for the purposes of the competition. Well, Bear and Sinvicta will go up to small bond because they are on the podcast together. I'm trying to think of what else. Honestly, I think Bear and myself maybe have a small bond out of ex-Pacific Northwest connections. I feel like he's going in well liked, for sure. But I don't think there's any need to change any of these. Dan Giesling. This is a spicy one. I think Dan and I have a strong bond. I'm going to say Dan and Malf have a small bond. Dan and Apollo have a small bond. We'll call this Team Unity. Mathis and Dan have a small bond as well. But now we got to create some enemies. To the best of my knowledge, I'm trying to think of like Dan and Corey have done very little. So I'm going to hit you with a mild dislike. Josh and Dan, they've met in real life. I think we're going to just move on from here. I think that'll be good enough. I don't want to like give a relationship for everybody, you know? I want to let's see how it plays out on the field. So Apollo, honestly, I'm going to tell you, I think he had a small bond with Bear Taffy. And I should have actually, let's go back and set that for Bear Taffy as well. They got it automatically sets. That makes sense. They got a small bond with one another over Champions of Salt alliances. I think Malf and Apollo have a small bond for Team Unity. Small bond for Team Unity. I'm going to go ahead and say that Sinvicta has a mild dislike. Or vice versa, because of their dueling sports fandoms. I definitely think Justin and Apollo have a strong bond. I don't want to make Corey the sacrificial lamb by using him as like the tilt function. All right. Corey and I, we got a small bond. We know each other in real life. Kate and Corey have a small bond. I'm trying to think of who else would fit here. I think, honestly, you let Corey go in the house as a little bit of a wild card. Justin's got a strong bond here. I think Justin likes everybody, and that creates a problem for him. It's tough, though. Oh.
Do you think I scared the last person?
Oh, you opened the door with the mask on?
With the mask.
Sorry, it might be a long video. I've provided myself sustenance. And by that, I mean, my wife was like, do you want to get a smoothie? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. It's tough. It's tough to say. I don't think we need to overplay the relationships aspect too much. Let's go a little faster. Now, I'll tell you, Josh, we have a mild dislike for one another on the show. We're great friends in real life, but we'll play it up for drama's sake. And let's just say that runs across the whole Eterno family. But Malf and Josh, very strong bond. They've been around knowing each other for like a decade. So Kate and I is without a doubt. We have an unbreakable bond. Honestly, I think she has a small bond with Mathis. Let's throw some spice in for Daniel here. And I think everything else is okay. Actually, let's give Sinvicta a small bond as well, because Sinvicta saved some of our GoPro footage a few years ago, and for that I will be forever grateful. Mathis, we got a small bond. I think he's got a small to strong bond with Sinvicta. And I think everything else is okay. Mouth, we have a team unity. Actually, we got a more than a team unity bonus. We've been friends a long time. Kate gave him a coupon for our meal prep service, so he got a free week of meals as a result. I think that's good enough. And, it's me. I'm just trying. I've already had so much set here that I feel like this is okay. Although I'll give Sinvicta a small bond for GeoGuessr solidarity. And then Sinvicta, I think all this seems right to me. So without further ado, let's take a sip. Oh, that's good. And get it started. 12 players, 9 weeks. Me as the narrator and also a competitor. No bias, by the way. Place your bets. Who wins? Proceed. Day 1. Justin wins the head of household. Congratulations. Justin begins the nomination ceremony. Northernlion is safe. Robert is safe. Dan is safe. Mathis is safe. Kate is safe. Apollo is safe. Josh, Sinvicta, and Bear Taffy are safe. You can't see it, I'm realizing now. I need to change my screen region slightly. Give me a second. So first you go like this. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. There's the spice. But now I'm going to be enormous here. This is not the right way to do this. I feel like I'm right inside of your television right now. Anyway, Justin has nominated my mouse wheel to be replaced. Corey and Mouth. All right. Proceed to eviction voting. Corey and Mouth face eviction. Oh no, it's Champions Assault week 1 all over again. Corey and Mouth face eviction. Kate votes to evict Mouth. Robert votes to evict Mouth. Dan votes to evict Corey. I vote to evict Corey. Sin votes to evict Corey. Bear votes to evict Corey. Apollo votes to evict Corey. Mathis votes to evict Corey. Josh votes to evict Corey. I spent all that time finding a photo, Corey, and you absolutely let me down by getting evicted by a vote of 7-2. What did I tell you? We're putting them in here as the wild card, and he got yeeted instantaneously. Okay, it's week 2. You just have to remember, I was supposed to put in like a black and white photo of people who are evicted, but I didn't. So, okay. Week 2, HOH. Bear Taffy wins the head of household. Who might he nominate? We'll see. Apollo is safe. Justin is safe. Robert is safe. Sinvicta's safe. I'm safe. Mouth is safe. Josh is safe. Kate is safe. This is a betrayal on levels I'm not sure I've ever seen before. Bear has nominated Dan and Mathis to be evicted from the nondescript, ambiguous reality television house. There's no vetoes in this, by the way, which I'm realizing now means it's kind of a straight shot. I apologize for that. But all the other seasons have, well, I guess they have the same number of contestants, but we can always do a retry once we get the veto handled here. Or once we get this first one handled. Dan and Mathis face eviction. Sinvicta votes to evict Dan. Kate votes to evict Dan. I vote to evict Mathis. Robert votes to evict Dan. Josh, Justin, Mouth, and Apollo vote to evict Mathis. You hate to see it. Mathis and Corey, the first 2 eliminated, this time by a vote of 5-3. Proceed to the HOH competition. Sinvicta wins the head of household. Bear is safe. Justin's safe. Josh, I don't see my face. Justin's safe. Josh is safe. Robert's safe. Dan's safe. Kate's safe. Please remember GeoGuessr. I'm safe. Malf and Apollo have been nominated. Alliances starting to crystallize, potentially. Dan votes to evict Apollo. You're forcing him to choose a Team Unity member. Robert votes to evict Malf. Josh votes to evict Apollo. Makes sense. He's got a lifelong bond. Justin votes to evict Malf. Makes sense. Bear votes to evict Malf. Kate votes to evict Apollo. I vote to evict Apollo. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. By a vote of 4-3, Apollo is evicted. Proceed to the 4th week. We've got 8 people remaining. No. With Apollo gone, Corey gone, and Mathis gone, we have 9 people remaining. It's my week. Oh, Kate wins the head of household. I'll tell you, 100% I'm safe. I bet she will nominate Dan, and Malf. She wants to break up Team Unity. She wants Tuesdays back. I'm safe. Malf's safe. Sin is safe. Justin's safe. Robert's safe. Bear's safe. Dan and Josh. Also makes perfect sense. It's a tough vote for me because I got a bond with... Oh, actually, never mind. I put Josh at mild dislike, didn't I? Sin votes to evict Dan. Rob votes to evict Dan. Malf votes to evict Dan. Bear votes to evict Dan. I vote to evict Josh. Justin votes to evict Josh. Who would it? That's the problem. Dan has a real game theory issue. As somebody who's already been on the show, he's impossible to underestimate coming into a competition. He always has a target on his back. I've lost a strong bond. Proceed to week 5. Justin wins HOH again, establishing himself as the preeminent threat. Never mind, I love him. I'm safe. Kate's safe. Bear's safe. Robert's safe. Josh is safe. Malf finds himself on the chopping block yet again against Sinvicta. If I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 votes. I'm voting to keep Malf. Kate's voting to keep Malf. I think you're voting against Malf. Against Malf. That's the podcast synergy. Keep Malf. There's no way Sinvicta stays here. Bear votes to evict Malf. Kate votes to evict Sinvicta. Robert votes to evict Malf. I vote to evict Sinvicta. I'm sorry, Sinvicta. We went to high school together, Malf and I. That trumps GeoGuessr in a Big Brother situation, unless you got some game theory stuff to offer me. Josh votes to evict Sinvicta. Sinvicta is out by a vote of 3-2. Proceed to the week 6. Don't mind if I do. I would very much like to win a competition. Bear wins head of household again. We're getting down there, though. Josh, Kate, Robert, and myself are safe. Bear nominates Justin and Malf. You hate to see it, 2 of the internet's best boys. He's painted a target right on Malf's face. If Malf wins a competition, or I win a competition, it's over for you, buddy. Let me tell you, the alliances are starting to be drawn. We got Podcast Alley, Bear Taffy, Robert. Not Sinvicta anymore, I guess. So Bear and Robert are like a duopoly. And then, Kate and I are a married couple, which provides synergistic benefits such as telepathy. But then, me, Josh, Kate, and Malf have our own kind of alliance. And Justin's like the odd man out. He's got no friends left in the Big Brother house. So I'm thinking, well, Robert they like each other mildly. So, okay, we got 4 votes. There's no way me, Kate, or Josh vote to evict Malf. So Justin's got to go. What did I tell you? Bear, you've eliminated a neutral party. You got to break up the Kingston Alliance. You got to put me and Malf up if you want a chance. Justin's evicted by a vote of 3-1. I got to tell you, I've flown under the radar, haven't been nominated yet. This would be a really good time for me to win a competition and reveal the Infinity Gauntlet. Malf wins the head of household. Bear, Taffy, Robert, you guys are in trouble. Look at that. What did I tell you? The Canadian plus Pennsylvania alliance. This is a tough one. I'm trying to... I think it's a wild card. I think you vote out Bear, even though I voted out Rob. I think you vote out Bear because he's too much of a beast in the competitions. Bear is evicted by a vote of 2-1. There are only 5 people left, I believe. Proceed to the HOH. Cade wins again. I gotta be honest, I like my position right now. Luigi wins by doing exactly nothing. I'm safe. Malph's safe. Rob and Josh find themselves on the block. If you want to stab somebody in the back, now's the time. I don't want to, though. I think we send Rob out, and the Josh's wedding party stays strong into the final voting block. I voted to evict Josh. Malph voted to evict Robert. I stabbed him in the back because he interrupted me too many times on the NLSS. It's a tie. Kate chooses to evict Josh. That's good game theory. Now we've destabilized Malph. Robert already has no power in the house. This competition means everything. And he's revealed his true power. Kate's safe. Malph and Rob are on the block. Kate's gonna send Robert home. Oh, baby. Kate, Malph, and myself. Laying down in the tall grass. Just waiting for the opportunity to strike. The final head of household. Whoever wins chooses who they take with them to the final 2, which I'm pretty sure gives me a 2/3 chance to make it. We hope Malph does not win the competition. Who is he going to take with him to the finals? No, I won the second part. Okay. Who wins the I guess it's a best of 3. Who wins the third part? Oh, translate this page? That's okay, Google. I'm all right. Northernlion wins the final HOH competition. He chooses to remove Malph, certainly. Malph's evicted by a vote of 1-0. There are those who said it could not be done. Let's look at the jury. Realistically, Josh will not vote for me, I think. Simvicta may not vote for me. That's a sure vote. Sure vote. Everything else, I think, is up in the air, dude. The final 2 give opening statements to the jury. The jury asks the finalist questions before they vote for the winner. Mathis votes for Kate to win. You were my sure vote, Mathis. Robert votes for Northernlion to win. Apollo votes for Kate to win. Malph votes for Northernlion to win. Sin votes for Northernlion. Bear votes for Northernlion. Josh votes for Kate. Dan votes for Northernlion. Justin votes for Kate. Kate nullifies the vote of Dan. I nullify the vote of Josh. Proceed to the winner reveal. I have won by a vote of 4-3. Proceed to America's favorite. Dan is voted by America as their favorite juror. Sometimes art imitates life. Here's your placements. Well, I honestly, heavy is the head that wears the crown. It's hard for me to argue that this was unbiased, but at the same time, we popped all the necessary details and parameters into the simulation, and what can I say? Turns out, I can't be beaten. For now, please remember this is all in fun and games. If we do, so what I wanted to do, there's also a Hunger Games simulation, but I need to know 24 people. I don't know 24 people. They won't let you go down to 12. So this is just kind of a test run, a trial run for now, if you will. But if you enjoyed it, thank you. It's all meant to be in good taste. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and of course, click the like button if you enjoyed this one. You want to run your own simulation? I'll put the link to the general page in the video description below. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!